Is it the Alps? Is it Whistler? Nope, this is Wales. Stay tuned for a rollercoaster 50k with my friend Felicity, Dave, Emily, and John's there somewhere in his colourful outfit and these leopard print shorts. This was not the race or the day that any of us expected, and the weather did definitely not look like that all day. So let's go back to before I even got to Wales, the journey up there in my car. This is the most nervous I think I've ever been before any race. I'm 3 hours into a 5-hour journey to my friend's house near Wales, staying at his, John and Sophie's house. Me and a few others are running a 50k trail mountain race called Sea2Summit. I feel very underprepared. About 2-3 months ago I lost my Coros running watch, so I dug out my old Garmin Vivo Active and downloaded the GPX file of the route. On the better models of most of the running watches now, you can put the course onto your watch and it literally tells you whether to turn left and right, and the whole course is on there preloaded onto your running watch. So I just assumed that's what I'd do, because they do give you a map of this route at the start, but I'm not very good at reading a map. My watch is not compatible with the GPX file, neither of the Garmin's that I've got. So I should have replaced my lost Coros, but I was hoping that I'd find it and I never did. So that's number one thing adding to my nerves. Issue number two that's making me slightly nervous is that John sent me a picture of where he is at the moment and it looks really snowy. The race organiser sent us an email this morning to say they've changed the course because of treacherous conditions. So I'm guessing it's really quite a high point where it's supposed to finish, but they're saying it's too dangerous because of the weather. So they've moved it down to checkpoint 4. That will be the finish now. I've never done a race in snowy conditions before, and I feel like I haven't thought my kit through well enough. I've got my New Balance Hieros, which I love racing trails in, but I don't know if they're good for running in snow. Right, come on, what do I preach? Positive thinking. I can race this. I'm always saying to myself, we shouldn't want the perfect conditions. We shouldn't want it totally easy all the time. Maybe it's good that I'm going into this with a bit more nerves. I should want it to be uncomfortable, because then how you deal with the uncomfortable situations really determines how you feel about yourself. So if I deal with this well, then that's another learning point, another cook in my jar of how mentally tough I am, I suppose. That's what I like ultras for, proving to yourself how mentally tough actually are you, and actually putting it to the test. Anyway, I'm waffling now. I'm probably procrastinating. I need to carry on with this journey and start talking positively to myself. The next morning. So, after a 5-hour drive, I made it to John's. I was there about half an hour and we got an email through to say the event's been cancelled. Bit gutted. But me, John, Dave, Felicity and Emily have decided to do our own race, haven't we, John?
Yes, we have.
So we're about 2 miles in, walking because it's an incline and that's what you do in an ultra. Planning on still doing a 50k. 30 minutes later. So Felicity and Emily had worked out this route for us because the actual Sea2Summit route is that blue line. It starts below that picture from the sea right up to the red dot, which is the summit. But we followed this down the opposite way that the actual race would run, because we didn't want to do point to point, because then we had to sort out cars and get someone to pick us up. Oh, here's John having his first fall. Yes, so we decided, Emily and Felicity kindly worked out a looped route so that we can go round in a circle, park at the same place, which was Llandegla. So this was about 5 miles in. Snow was feeling pretty thick, but I was pretty happy here. I was surprised how good my feet felt and my temperature felt, and all was feeling good at this point. We are nearly 9 miles in now, 2 hours and 17 minutes gone. we're a bit behind the schedule to reach the 50k in, what did we say, 7 hours? I can't remember now. There's been a lot of uphill, but we're going to do our best to reach 50k. As you can see from these videos, it is pretty low visibility. It's really snowy as well, so I can totally understand why they didn't want to have this race on and have the extra pressures on emergency service potentially. Right, this is where we reached Moel Famau. I really can't pronounce it. It's a really pretty walking route. I mean, it's beautiful in the snow. Snow makes everything pretty. But they say this is the top of the hill. I was pretty sad that it says it's a hill on Google because it felt like a mountain to me. But apparently this is the top of the hill. Where else would you rather be? Nowhere.
Really better than this. Looking over to the west over there. Yeah. There you go. Have you seen my house? Yeah.
12 miles in now. 1 hour, no, 3 hours 13. Can't be 1 hour. Nutrition wise, I've just had a Morton, and before that I've had a bag of crisps, baby food, which I stick in my hydration vest like this. It's brilliant because you can squeeze some out, twist the top back on, and then pop it back in the hydration vest. So I think I've had in total 1 bag of crisps, 1 pouch of fruity baby food, 1 pouch of spaghetti bolognese baby food, and that Morton gel, and that's it, which is more than I would have eaten at this distance if it was flat, obviously, but we're using a lot more energy running through snow and up the hills. We are 15.5 miles in, just over 4 hours gone. We're thinking we should be doing 50k in about 8 hours, possibly still on track for that. It's got a bit less snowy on the road now. Feeling good. "22 miles in, 5 hours and 30 minutes done, and John is as jolly as ever."
Shut up!
Feeling good. We're at 23 miles, just under 6 hours. Loving it.
Oh, look at this!
And then this is where we witnessed some sledges crashing into the fence. Can't really see it because it's a bit far away here.
That was amazing.
Okay. They did have a car with them over there, so please be careful on sledges, guys, if you're next to a fence.
Absolutely nailed himself.
I feel like I've just shouted, that was amazing in this video.
I mean, just look at how beautiful it is, going from an open, snowy field into a snowy, wooded area. I think these parts were my favourite parts, going in through these. And the fences weren't too bad, they sort of broke it up a little bit. And this group were fantastic as well, such lovely people, like a light-hearted, sociable run, but people that still want to push themselves and get a really decent run in. We did see quite a lot of people out there doing the Sea2Summit route. Some are on their own, wouldn't recommend that. I mean, some people probably would think it wouldn't be recommended what we were doing, but we did put safety precautions in place and we were in a group. And as you can see, some of the weather wasn't too bad, so I'm glad we did it, but wouldn't recommend, if a race is cancelled, doing it by yourself. But equally, I can see why people would go out there by themselves. When it's cancelled the night before, you want to get a run in. But yeah, put the safety precautions in place or go as a group like we did, if you're lucky enough to have amazing ultra friends like I do. Well, to be honest, I met all of these people through Instagram, so it may have its faults, but it's definitely been more positive than negative for me. Anyway, back to commentary of this run. We're at 24 miles now, having a little walk, and here I hit a bit of a bad patch. "27 miles done, 7 hours gone. Feeling hard now. I'm just smashing Haribo in my mouth. Try and get some energy. My quads are fine. Temperature I'm fine. My calves and energy levels. Okay, I know I sound super dramatic here, but they all started running at me, and when I went on a walking holiday with my sister before, she got badly headbutted by a sheep, so I know they can be a bit aggressive, and it's not what I wanted after I was having a low patch. But we had a little walk here, then got back into our pace again, and I quickly come out of that low patch, which I was happy. It lasted probably a couple of miles, and then here I recognised and I knew we were on our way back. We were literally about 28, 29 miles here, so I really picked myself up, stuffed some Haribos in and managed to pick up the pace until the end. We did 50k in just under 7 hours and 30 minutes. So that's like 14, 15 minutes per mile, which I'm pretty happy with. We got an email to say the race is rescheduled to January. So now I'm just really excited because I feel like that was a fantastic recce. As I showed you, we done some of the actual course, but I still think I'm going to be so much more confident now with kit, nutrition and the course that I probably can be a lot more competitive in this race. Anyway, let me talk you through some of the kit and tell you what I was really pleased with, what I might change. The thing I was most over the moon with was how much of a good temperature my feet were, because that's what I was worried about. I wore my New Balance Hieros, and I wore the old version of these Hieros for my first 100 miler and loved them. And these ones are the version 7s, and they're actually 20 grams lighter than the ones I had. I think I had the version 5s, these are the version 7s. I've got an insole in them that was made by a running shop where they warm your feet up in the machine and the plastic insole fits to your foot. So I think that is a great help as well. I'm really pleased I've got those. I think they're about £80. And socks wise, I wore these hilly ones, which I've worn on cold runs but haven't worn in snow, so again I was a little bit apprehensive. They've got these thicker bits at the front and the back. The combination of these socks and those trail shoes kept my feet absolutely perfect. They didn't feel wet and they didn't feel cold. I mean, these aren't 100% waterproof, so I feel like moisture and snow and a bit of wet must have got in, but it just didn't bother my feet at all. They didn't feel horrible at all, so it must have just been, I don't know, soaked up and then warmed up by the heat of my foot. So massive 10 out of 10 for these socks and those shoes for a snowy race. So I will wear them again. Obviously in January it won't be snowy, hopefully. It will be just running this course through trails. So yes, overall success. The race was cancelled, but I'm so happy with how things turned out. I've done a really good recce. Clothing was great, nutrition was great, and I will do another 50k Sea2Summit vlog in January. Okay.